this morning that are on a daily basis, there's always stuff that happens with us. And often we are on autopilot. We don't really respond to the moment as we are today in the age that we're at, with the experience we've had, or all that we know. When something happens to you, like we're prepared for a lot of things, right? You run short of money, you have a backup plan. You run out of petrol, you have a general idea of which route you're on, where you'll stop to get fuel. If you get hungry, we're thirsty, you have some kind of contingency plan always. As human beings, we're wired for survival. But we don't really think about on a daily basis when things go wrong and how we react to it emotionally. We don't think about which part of me is reacting. Is it the 7-year-old, the 15-year-old, the 21-year-old who was frightened? Is it the first time you were rejected, by another perspective partner? How did you respond to failure when you didn't get the results in school or college or feedback on a job? We tend to respond to things historically from what we did when we were much younger, when we didn't have skills, we didn't have tools, we didn't know better. We tend to respond from what we saw from our family of origin, how they responded. You were either like, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to have that kind of temper tantrum or that kind of an outburst, or I'm not going to be that silent sufferer. And then we respond from whichever part of our self-concept got generated back then in that moment in time. We're rarely in present moment unless you have a long-term practice of meditation, mindfulness, maybe sports, maybe art, maybe performing. But usually we tend to respond from very old, outdated notions of who we are, what our capability is, and how we are resourced from an inner point of view. So when I was younger, I used to have a really short fuse. I would the reputation my father and his twin brother had was punch first, ask questions later. So maybe I picked it up from there. But as I got older, I knew that was not going to serve me, especially because I've had multiple careers in environments I had absolutely no control over. So over time, I developed a mindfulness practice. I developed a breath practice. I developed a whole range of tools to navigate family situations, social situations, public situations, and then I would have to deal with the press. And I was doing various projects. So the biggest thing I think I learned and I can offer you is when you are having a moment in which you got unsettled and you got thrown off your normal, state of being, instead of going into your immediate quick trigger response, see if you can, for a second, just sit back and take a breath. That's it. All I'm asking you is take a breath and see if you can just sit with whatever discomfort, whatever shock, whatever anger, whichever pain, whatever rejection, disappointment, sadness. If you can just sit with it. The first step is take a breath, observe it, notice what is the feeling that came up. Don't judge it. The biggest thing is to not judge, quantify, or qualify what you're feeling, but just to sit with it. Like you would a little baby, like a really young part of yourself that felt really alone. So if you can just sit with it and take a few minutes to breathe, it becomes an extraordinary place to explore who you are and who you're capable of being, and not from a place of judgment, curiosity, and always gentle kindness. I hope you find this helpful. Leave me a comment if you find something you want to talk about.